Well, guys, welcome to week 5 of Bound Together. Got Nathan again. Hope you're glad to see me because I'm glad to see you. Anyways, guys, I want you to imagine this. So you're back in school, you're sitting next to your best friend, and you're about to take a test. I know, tests, they freak me out. Now, you studied for this test. You know it left and right. You're about to ace this thing. Now, your best friend, your buddy, didn't really study at all. They are totally unprepared, and you're sitting there and they're kind of nudging you and they're like, hey, can I cheat off of your answers? Now, here's what's going through your head. You're probably thinking, man, I know cheating is bad, it's not right, I shouldn't do it, but also if I don't, I might lose this friendship. And guys, I get that, I totally do, but one thing I want to tell you is that you really shouldn't have to choose between status or relationships over truth. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How true community stands together for truth and doesn't compromise. Now, I want you to open up to Acts chapter 5, and we're going to hear from David.
Thanks, Nate. So like he was talking about, Peter and John were in the same situation with the Sadducees. They were really passionate and excited about sharing the gospel, but the Sadducees were threatened by the power and influence that they were gaining. And so the Sadducees were trying to get them to stop. And so Peter and John had to decide, what were they going to be about? Were they going to stand for what they knew to be right, or were they going to cave to do what others wanted them to? But what's really neat is they decided to stand firm. They stood for what they believed in. They wanted to stay faithful to the gospel and continue to preach it to others. Even saying in Acts 5:29, they say, but Peter and the apostle answered, we must obey God rather than men. So they stuck with what they believed in, they stood for truth, and they stood together.
Thanks, David. So, thinking about this, how can we apply it to our lives? Well, a couple things come to mind. First, we need to cultivate relationships with our friends that allow for us to speak truth into each other. Have a relationship where it's okay to call each other out and you can still be friends. And then thinking about Nathan's story, the cheating on the test or on the homework. If you're that friend, don't put your other friends in that situation where they have to decide between being a good friend or being truthful. Don't ask them to copy off that stuff. But then some of you also might be that friend that did do the work, and friends come after you. And if that's the case, stand strong, stand for truth, and your real friends will stand with you after that.
All right, now I want to leave you with this last and final thought. You see, one person that understood the importance of standing for truth was Jesus, right? Like he knew that he ultimately preached the kingdom of God and that he was going to send him to his death. He knew that if he kept preaching the good news of life eternal with God, it was going to send him to his death. And he knew that it was worth it. He knew that it was worth it for you so that you could have life forever with him. You see, he came to give life and life abundantly. Standing for truth was worth it for that sake. So guys, I encourage you to stand for truth this week, whatever that looks like, and know that it's worth it and that Jesus is going to shine through you and use you when you do. We love you guys. Hope you have a great week. See you next time.